heard that you guys at Lafayette are having a career day, and I thought I would get in on the fun. I'm not anybody's parent, but I am somebody's daughter. Mrs. Ferrone in BSI is my mom, and she, believe it or not, is old enough to have a kid as old as me.
Okay, Leah, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your career?
Yes, I graduated from Chatham Middle School and then Chatham High School, go Cougars, in 2014. And then I went on to college in New York City. I started working in publishing when I was 20, and I have been there ever since. I work as a publicity assistant at HarperCollins in New York.
What does it mean to be a publicity assistant? What are your responsibilities?
Well, I have a really cool job. So I get to work with books and authors to get their book out there. So these are some of the books I'm working on. Very fun and bright and colorful. And they're on sale in September. So what happens is I start working on them in March. And I will write a pitch, which means that I write what Mrs. Ferrone and your ELA teachers would call a grabber paragraph opening to media. So places like the New York Times or TV, like the Late Night with Stephen Colbert, and I will email them and say, hey, I have this great book and it's great because of this, this, and this. Would you like to cover it? And they will tell me yes or no. And if they tell me yes, then that's where the really fun stuff begins, because then I get to take the author to the show or hook them up with an interview, and then their book gets all the face time it needs to be a big hit.
Okay, now what do you think the most exciting part of your job is?
I think, well, there are two. One of them is working with the authors. It's really cool. When I was little, I used to think authors were like the greatest people ever. I don't know if you guys read the Magic Treehouse series, but I thought that if I could meet that author, I would just collapse. And turns out that as an adult, I felt the same way about the authors of books that I was reading as an adult. So meeting them in real life was really cool, but I had to be really calm and professional inside. And that's really neat because you are actually kind of the boss of them. You're in the position of knowing what you're doing, and they look to you for help with stuff involving media, which is my expertise. And so it's really neat to be, not only to be friends with authors, but to be an equal with an author. Because turns out they're just people. And the other favorite part of my job is when I send out a pitch, that grabber opening, and the media will respond back. I sent out books in the last 2 weeks to New York Magazine and to the San Francisco Book Review, which I was dancing on my deck. I was so excited about it. So that was really cool.
Now, what platforms do you use to attract people to your books? Do you set up blogs? Do you do any other media attention?
So what I would do is I write letters and I put them, in the olden days before the pandemic, we would put them in the book. And so it would be a full page of everything cool about the book, quotes that people had about it, and I would send it out to the offices, and then I would follow up on email, and crazy amount of emails from me all the time. Now it's just email, and through that I will I set up blog tours. So I contact bloggers, say, hey, do you want to review this book? It would be really great. And then the more people talk about something, the more momentum it gets, which means that the more power, the more fuel it gets, like a ball rolling down a hill. And I get to be the gravity behind that ball, which is really neat. So yeah, and I will contact newspapers, TV, magazines, and with a little bit of luck, they will answer. So those are all the mediums that I contact.
Okay, now, do you ever get discouraged in your job?
Yeah. Well, the thing about asking 100 people for the same thing is that like 95 will say no. But you just kind of got to keep going. Publicity is all about persistence. And so you just got to keep trying. And the really cool thing is that the more coverage that you get, the more people know who you are. So the harder you work, the more you'll succeed, which is a really cool thing.
Okay. Do you have any advice for people who would like to go into a career similar to yours?
Yes, intern when you're in college.
What does that mean?
So when you're in college, you can, even in high school, I know Chatham High School has a really good interning program. I don't know if they have it with publishing, but you can talk to your English teachers about it. Maybe they know. But it's basically kind of like a part-time job where they don't expect you to know a single thing, and you go in and you do your best and you see if you like it. So like if you're nervous about, oh my gosh, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. There's so many things to be. And I felt the same way. I worked in radio, I worked in politics, and then I found publishing. And I loved it, but I wouldn't have known if I didn't try out stuff. So I would keep an eye out for that when you're a few years older, and that'll really help you out.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Read. Read a lot and read well, because there's nothing better than escaping with a really good book and learning something really good from it. I think that that's the best thing you can carry in your life is a good book.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.